Energy, navigating complexity. I am Rafael Hertzberg, an energy consultant based in São Paulo, Brazil. The complexity is associated with the four following challenges: financial, legal, and management, risk management, technical solutions, and contracting formats. Usually, there are four most important themes to be checked. First, energy sources contracts that might be available for that specific case, energy efficiency projects, distributed generation, and higher voltage connection to the grid. The decision-making process structure includes four steps. The first one is the C-level defining a strategy. The second is managers crafting solutions according to that given strategy. The third step is creating alternatives that can be contracted. And once there is a decision, then it's about to come up with a timeline. Then there is a very important aspect that may change completely for each specific case: boundary conditions. What kind of ongoing contracts must be respected? What are current and future energy uses in that given location? What kind of risks are defined? And what is the commitment of the upper managers to go for it? A very interesting case was associated with a leading company in the packaging industry in Brazil. These guys, as soon as I was invited to hear their story, told me that they were facing very severe unplanned power interruptions, and accordingly they were paying a very steep price for losses incurred in those interruptions. So they asked me what kind of solutions would be there for them. And after evaluating their options, I came up with this project, which was actually installed, which was 138 kV access, because previously they were connected to a 13 kV access. And this picture shows this substation. It was a 12 MVA substation connected to 138 kV line, which was about half a mile away. So at the end of this construction, the client was able to feel a huge difference. As opposed to 60 hours per year of unplanned power interruptions, it was about 5 hours. And the very interesting aspect of this project was the way it was structured. As opposed to the client investing in the project, the idea was contracting results, and by that I came up with the idea of a BOT, build, operate, and transfer, by which the investors would receive 90% of the savings, because of course when you migrate to a higher voltage you have access to lower rates, and so the investors were able to get 90% of the savings for 8 years, and the client was getting 10% of the savings, plus what matters most for this client since then, the better reliability of their plant and accordingly lower costs. Another very interesting case was related to a peaking and emergency generation. This client was providing services to the aviation industry, and they couldn't afford to have unplanned power interruptions. So they asked me how to do it without having to invest in the project. So I came up with the idea of installing a 1 megawatt diesel genset power plant that would be fed with diesel, And in order to make this feasible, we asked potential solution providers to run the diesel genset during the on-peak hours, because the on-peak hours by the local utility company was a lot higher than the variable cost of the gensets. So this was actually done, and the solution provider that was contracted was paid exactly according to what the local utility company would charge. But at the end of the day, the company didn't have any power interruptions, and on top of that, we included no breaks, so that when there was an unplanned power interruption, the no breaks would handle the situation until the genset was automatically turned on and heated up, and then the genset would take all the load. This final example is a very interesting one as well. This industrial plant was running an electric heat treatment furnace. But when I walked through their plant, I noticed that there was available one gas heat treatment furnace as well. So what I came up with as an idea that was actually accepted was each month check what was the market price for electric power, because they were deregulated energy users, and compare with what they were paying for the gas, and decide accordingly what was the best arrangement. And they made a huge savings because they went for it. Thank you very much for watching this video, and here goes my contact information.